Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all between the binary. This is Get Informed with Wajeeh. I'm Wajeeh Lion. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have so much going on this week. Apparently, the White House has banned, let's see if I can play this for you here. I hope everyone's doing all right.
Well, you guys, I'm not surprised what I got. Got the top. The UFC Arabs called me big names. This is Sean. I gotta apologize, but you're not Israeli enough to go to UFC 250 Israel edition. The White House didn't clear you, and you might be surprised. I'm not really surprised. So, I think moving forward, I would like to just apologize to Israel. I'd like to say I'm sorry, I'd like to apologize to Trump, and I just want to prove that I'm Israeli enough for you guys. Like, for instance, whenever the list disappear and Trump goes out there and says to everybody that they can't really go into it because people that fight education will get prosecuted and their names be tarnished. I want to apologize. I don't want them to prosecute. Or, when Trump goes and bombs by ringing that no Americans agree with, they cost Americans $5,000 to $15,000 to go fight Israel's war. I want to apologize. Sorry, I've been a critic of that. My allegiance was held in the wrong place, and I just want to apologize. Or when Trump goes out there and says, "Hey, Trump, dude, your approval ratings are the lowest it's ever been across all demographics," and Trump says, "Well, you know what? I'm in a 99% approval rating in Israel. I want to apologize. I'm going to repent, and I want to repent. I'm not American enough to go to Freedom 250, but I still got my ticket, so maybe we'll just go. I'll ring the bell, and we'll just stand outside the gate, and we'll just let them know what we really think about Trump in Israel. Yes, actually, I'm the plane ticket. We're free. Don't worry. I'm going to bring the bell, make it a big bullhorn, and we'll roll up to the gates. If you guys are going to be there, let's go. We're not in a drinking way. We do a peaceful protest outside of the bowl or something. I'd be out in front of the house. Very, very peaceful. Or
So this is the um so this was Sean Strickland. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. A UFC fighter that actually voted for Trump first election, second election, was a Trump supporter, and then he criticized the Jeffrey Epstein files, and then criticized the Trump war in Iran, and he received a message. He's a UFC fighter, an American fighter was supposed to be scheduled to fight in the 250th birthday of the United States UFC fight, and received a message, and the message was he is not Israeli enough, although he's American. He is not Israeli enough to fight at the 250th birthday. I thought the fight was for America, not for Israel. We found out recently that not only that, Israel might be Netanyahu might be attending the whole fight. So not only we are banning an American fighter from fighting in a U.S. birthday at the first fight at the White House. Tomorrow we'll have NASCAR around the White House. Today is going to be the fighting arena. I'm not joking. Trump says that the arena might stay there forever. We have foreign fighters coming and fighting in this fight, but we're banning the Americans from joining the fight. Confusing, y'all. So that's why I was playing that video for you. If you're wondering why are you doing this to us? Why are you showing us this crazy guy? The reason I'm showing you this is because I'm trying to explain something this whole thing along since I started talking to you guys. By the way, how you like my new outfit? I bought some outfit for the podcast, so I look a little bit more presentable. What I've been saying here all along is that everyone in this country who is not rich has something in common with each other. It is the rich versus the poor rather than right versus left. Americans voted for Trump believing that he would get rid of corruption. Americans voted for Trump thinking he would bring them better economy. Americans voted for Trump thinking that he would end wars. They all believed and fell into a cult like following that destroyed their basic ability to have critical thinking. Anytime we attack these people, we are basically pushing them away. Understanding the mentality of people who come from cults is a very important way of understanding how you communicate with them. Anytime you communicate with people in a cult, you're supposed to be acting as a friend, as someone who is going to talk to you kindly, as someone that who's going to talk to you with empathy, as someone that who's going to look at your human side before looking into your opinion. I said this many times that we need to learn from missionaries who excel in their job at sitting down with the opposite side who doesn't believe in their ideas and beliefs and sitting down and listening to the other side, actually listening, actively understanding where they're coming from so they can deliver a message to the other side that could be receptive and consumed by someone who lives in a cult. We're watching Trump supporters come out and criticize Trump at the moment. This is your perfect opportunity to come and sweep and make them feel welcome in your community. Because if you push them away, you have lost a vote. Someone asked me the other day, how do we beat the Republicans? And my answer to that is you don't beat them, you win them over. You live in a country together. You're not going at a war against each other. The whole idea of winner takes all is cool to tell children, but in reality, it doesn't work. When winner takes all, the rest of us are losing. The 99% of the world is losing. So we need to be finding solutions that are win-win. The best solution is a win-win solution. The best solution is the one that is in the middle for everyone to be taken advantage of. So this person is a Trump supporter. Now he's against Trump. You think, as someone who's not even in politics, as someone, if you're a salesperson and you see a customer leaving AT&T and T and you're in Verizon, you're not going to go to that person and pitch them the best pitch you have for Verizon so you can win them over? Why don't we think the same thing in politics? Why are we trying to win them over? Show them we are trying to drain the swamps. Yes, we are tired of the establishment. You think Democrats haven't been enforcing the rich establishment? They are enforcing the rich establishment. You think Democrats haven't been supporting the 1%? They are supporting the 1%. So the idea is here. Take this opportunity to see if there are Republicans or conservatives that are financially struggling just as Democrats or conservatives are struggling. And if you are doing, if we are giving away money for people who need it to pay rent, try this. Offer it to a conservative family to help pay their bills. See the way they change the way they view you. A very conservative family that is really struggling economically, that does not have any ends meet. Grab them some groceries. Don't give them the 20 bucks. Buy them some milk and eggs and hand it them over. They will be like, I wish the rest of the country's like you. Yes, we do wish the whole country's like that, whether it's for Republicans or Democrats, because everyone is needing to feed their kids. Everyone. And here's the thing about having kids. I don't have any kids. Once you have kids, they're the only responsibility you have in life until even if they grow. In the United States, raising a child can cost $100,000 for a lifetime, at least. That was back in the good old days. Raising a child in the United States is not cheap. So, if we want to bring this country together, we have to come to our humanity. Because if you show them that you're human first before your political ideology comes out, they're going to think twice. I don't care what they think. I don't care if this person is gay or straight. I don't care if this person is liberal or conservative. That's what they're going to start doing. Are you a good or bad person? Are you a person that's going to look for the best interests of the country? Or are you just going to go out there and just have some culture war? I talked about the problem with cancel culture rather than rehabilitation. Anyways, we have questions we should go to. So take this opportunity to recruit your fellow citizens to be part of change. Trump, before this election, had a lot of white support. Right now, the white conservative support is negative 14. Negative 14. You're literally like, you have to understand when I say the Democrats are also part of the problem. Democrats were the same people that were working with the current Republicans, the established Democratic people were trying to merge the US intelligence and military system with the Israeli system, corroding all of the checks and balances that goes with it. Section 224 that intends to erase any trace of funding that we give to the Israeli military. Could you explain more about the US bases being in Israel after the bombing? Yes, someone is asking, could you talk about US bases being in Israel? And in the previous podcast with Malcolm Nance, what happened is that we talked about Al Udeida base and other US bases being hit by Iran. And I was saying that there's a very good chance that after the US has left these bases temporarily, they wouldn't be necessarily invited back to all of them. The reason for that, I say, is because the Gulf states thought that the existence of the US bases and their nations would repel any attack from foreign countries like Iran on these Gulf states. And the And when the United States did not fulfill its promises from 100% protecting these Gulf states from the Iranian strikes with a war that they did not necessarily choose at their time and place, you have a resentful group that is no longer looking at the United States as a possible ally that will protect them, but more looking at the United States as a reliability issue that could result in Iran hitting them. So the idea is we substitute the Americans with the Pakistani and the Turkish military, creating a Sunni uh, military coalition that semi exists at the moment. And the United States would have to basically move its center command to Israel because that is the only other place in the Middle East that it would have access to. That's not good. That's not good. If you're looking for a place for the questions, let me tell you to go to my group chat on my channel chat and look for ask questions here, please. If you don't mind going over there and asking your questions over there. We also need your financial support. So if you don't mind becoming a paid subscriber, it helps us make this content available for everyone else that's trying to learn and do this type of education on a daily basis, um, making this content available for Westerners so we can make a difference. It's only $35 a year, $5 a month, and it pays the bills and helps me do this full time. So if you want to consider becoming a paid subscriber, I really appreciate it. If you are not able to become a paid subscriber, but want to have the benefits of the premium subscription, send me a message in the DM with the email associated with the account, and I'll happily add you to the premium list on the house. Otherwise, if you're on YouTube, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click that bell icon and then join us on Substack. Let's have this conversation. How's everyone doing today, huh? I hope you're doing okay. I'm a little bit confused about Saudi loyalty with US, Russia, and China. All seems to be in the mix. They just work with everyone. The Saudis at this point used to be fully reliant on the United States for security and protection. The Saudi has a long history uh, with the United States in terms of alliances, and it's reluctant of letting that go. They're also dependent on the United States for supplies regarding its military infrastructure and military system. And they are dependent on US technologies. But the Saudi government is a strategic country that has a lot of things that it's trying to accomplish. So, af- so the alliance between Saudis and Putin is quite strong, and the trade between the Saudis and China, especially economically, is stronger than ever. Just like the United States gets a lot of its imports from China, Saudi Arabia also gets a lot of its imports from China. So they have amazing diplomatic relations with the Russians, with the Chinese, and with the Americans. And that's why when America does stupid shit like what we just did in Iran, we're at loss because Saudi Arabia has options. It's not the best options. It's not the most, feasible option. It's not the most technologically advanced option, but it's an option. They can step away from the United States if they want. And if China keeps getting its way with Taiwan and they have access to the chip market, then Saudi Arabia doesn't even need to have access to the United States to get access to the new technology. The Saudis are sick and tired of being pushed around, and Trump is pushing them around like toys. And that's just going to bite the Americans in the long run. It's already biting the Americans. You're already losing trade. All of the trade agreements that happened with Trump and his beginning of the administration is stopped. It's all gone. Billions and trillions of dollars of investment to the U.S. economy. You can kiss all that goodbye. Are you saying that this moving America command in Israel has happened or is happening? Is happening as we speak? Is happening as we speak because these command centers were damaged in the Gulf states. So they need to relocate regardless. And relocating is an easy way of getting evicted, essentially, if I'm going to simplify it down for you. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you tuning in. Please write your questions down and I will do my best to answer them. There is nothing that defends me here. No stupid questions, whether it's about culture, economy, politics. relations, history. I'll do my best to answer them as I can. But I don't want you to feel like there is a wrong question you can ask here. Questions, bring answering these questions will bring a lot of light and education to you. And a lot of times when your questions go unanswered, they become phobias. And when they become phobias, they end up creating more problems rather than solving them. Uh, where's our music? I paused the music because of the video earlier today. Thank you for reminding me. You like the music? We'll keep the music. I need to talk with Mama K about finding a good time for the Zoom. Mama K has been very supportive of our channel. I really want to give her a good appreciation. What isn't in the news? We talked about it in the previous weeks. We're just recovering it, Thomas. Does the US have influence over any particular country in the Gulf? They do have influence. The influence never stopped. Uh it's about whether they have the respect of the Gulf states, and they don't have the respect of the Gulf states anymore. What is the history of geopolitical interactions between Saudi Arabia and Oman? What are the So Oman and Saudi Arabia or the rest of the Gulf states differ dramatically. The Sultanate of Oman is the oldest country between all of these Gulf countries, and they have existed since the Ottoman Empire, and during the Ottoman Empire, they come from a religious minority in general. They a different view of regarding to relations. They have participated in some wars in the past, but they come to a point where they understood that joining wars is not in the best interest of the Omani people. Um, the relationship was good with the rest of the Gulf state, but the Saudis have been growing sick and tired of the Omanis not taking sides, and they're kind of looking at this time where they're seeing Oman kind of getting hit by the Israelis, by the Iranians. Like, look, we told you you needed to take a position regardless because you not taking a position still made you a target for Iran. So there's this kind of like scolding sentiment that's going on. The Omanis have a different philosophy for the way they are investing in their country and regarding the other Gulf state. If you go to Oman, they are way more invested in like deep rooted culture. But if you go to Gulf state, you'll see a lot of modernity and westernization. So you'll see a lot of more towers, you'll see a lot more skyscrapers, you'll see a more like westernized technology and westernized culture, and you'll even get the westernized concerts and stuff like that. But in Oman, they have invested back more into their history. So I usually like when I ask Americans who visited different Gulf countries, including Oman, I usually get the feedback that when they go to Oman, they get way more of a cultural experience than they would have gone to Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates. So people who want like to get an experience of like of 100 years ago, or some authentic cultural experience that you're just not gonna get anywhere else. The unalterated, unfiltrated culture experience, you would go to Oman. That's where you go get your culture experience. But if you're wanting, to go to resorts and speak to the valet and concierge and go to different concerts and restaurants and stuff like that, then the Gulf states would be better suited. The other Gulf states would be better suited for you. Uh, the Omanis don't have a king; they have a sultan. Uh, and everyone bows their head to the sultan, even the king of the UK. Uh, they hold a strategic historical importance to the region. It looks like Oman is becoming aligned with Iran now. That's how Western media is playing the narrative. I wouldn't say that they're aligned with Iran. It's just all I would say is that they found out that there is a really good income incentive that would bring them more income than all of their oil revenue from maintaining and charging service fees over the Strait of Hormuz. And that's just business. And in their view, that especially after this conflict, maintaining a secure waterway in the Strait of Hormuz that is over their own, what that like this small land. So this is Oman. This is Iran. This water space right here, this water space, half of it is for Oman and half of it is for Iran. So technically, legally, they are able to charge service fees for maintaining this waterway. And all they're saying is now, since this war happened, to ensure security, to ensure maritime transit, to ensure other stuff, maintaining of the waterway, removing the mines, so on and so forth. It's important for them to charge fees. So now they're saying they're going to be charging funds for these ships to pass, especially after this war has started. And they didn't pick this war, but Trump treating Oman, the oldest Middle Eastern ally to the United States, like trash is like is like taking a 1,000-year-old carpet and setting up on fire. Why are you doing that? We don't have a problem with the Omani people. We don't have a problem with the Omani economy. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Should have Trump abandoned the blockade? Absolutely. The longer that we are in a blockade, the worse that we get, the world economy will get, including your pockets. What do you guys think of the watch I showed you earlier today, huh? I have good taste. Not this. I have good taste. Oh, yes. Now, that's a watch, huh? Anytime you see one of these symbol or like the two swords and a palm tree, or any like governmental seal on these watches that like takes the whole thing into another level. And this watch is already like special because it has the rubies on it. If you have one and you don't want it, send it to me. I will remember you for the rest of my life, okay? We can be friends forever. I'm just joking, by the way. But um I like them because they hold like a historical they hold a historical importance. You can't go to a store and buy one. You have to be invited by a royal family member to come to the palace or something. And then they have to be impressed by you. And then before the royal family meets you, the royal family has to place that order with Rolex or Patek Philippe or Omega. And Rolex has to approve their order because they usually don't take these type of orders, and have to do a custom order. And since it's a royal family, they'll accept it. And then they have to make the design and submit it back to the royal family, and the royal family has to approve it. And then the royal family has to decide to give that to someone like me or whatever. And then that person that was gifted it at some point has to decide to get rid of that watch. And then that watch becomes available for everyone else. So yeah, no, it's like finding the thing that drives you crazy. I don't know. I grew up crazy. Uh yes, Oman sounds like Switzerland. Oman is Switzerland of the Arab countries. They don't get involved in any conflict, and they like to keep good relationship with everyone else. Did I see the rump watch? That's the biggest joke watch I've ever seen. No respect to watchmaking, no respect to the artistry. He just likes to slam his name on everything. He had also Trump vodka, Trump steak, Trump water, Trump college, Trump University. Yeah, Trump University, Trump Tower, everything. He wants to put Trump on it. Trump yacht. He wanted to call the Strait of Hormuz the Strait of Trump. I don't know if you know that, or the Strait of America. At one point in the beginning of the war, everything he wants to slam Trump on it. Trump, 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 Trump. Has anyone seen Khomeini? No one has seen the Khomeini yet. No one has seen the Khomeini, and I don't think it matters to the world at the moment because the ones in control is the IRGC. Marco was just chased from a meeting by protesters. Really? Let's see if I can find that video. Man, Marco Rubio would be better off sent to Cuba at this point. Don't tell him I said that. Oh, I had, like the biggest thing that like gets me about like these nice things that like you buy it now and you put it aside and you leave it alone, and for some reason, like in a few years, it becomes very expensive. I'm looking for the video that shows Marco being chased, but I'm not finding any. Iran drew its ultimatum red line. If we can't export oil, no one in the region exports oil either. Tehran analyst Ali Kabir says the U.S. Iran ceasefire remains fragile. We're in a no war, no peace situation right now. Iran new Gulf rules. Ships uses the strait, uses Iran exact corridor, the easy pass around Larak Island, pay the service fee, and carry zero cargo that threatens them. As some Iranian experts say, that Iran would rather crank up the retaliation than let the U.S. violations become a new normal. I'm refreshing my feed. See if we have any other questions here. Do you have any ballpark numbers on how much and losses, damages, repair to the GCC nations? It's in the trillions. The honest number is in the trillions. Maybe at least 2 or 3 trillion. Because there's a lot of infrastructure that needs rebuilding, and then there's a lot of things that will the losses will occur over a 5 year period. So it's in the trillions. My estimate. Thank you, Tom. I'll have to do a deep research on full estimates, but I think it will be in the trillions over the next 5-10 years. Because it's not everything is immediate, and we're not out of the shit show yet. Like, you're still in the middle of the war, damages are still occurring, so the prices are like the blockade is still there, so there is nothing to show, right, that the damages are stopped. Therefore, we're still counting the damages. We're still, as long as this blockade is going, they're calculating their damages. So the as long as we are in the blockade, the prices is going up for them in terms of repairs. If the U.S. had not interfered with the Iranian politics, I think we wouldn't even have a U.S. Iranian conflict. Because if we left the first democratically elected Iranian before the Islamic Revolution, we wouldn't be in this equation to begin with. But we decided that the person that was democratically elected did not match all of our opinions. So we decided to make a CIA coup, remove him. I think he ended up in a political prison or assassinated. And we put back the Shah that was kicked out of Iran to begin with, reigniting Iranian sentiments against the United States, or igniting, not reigniting, igniting these anti-US sentiments. And then when the Islamic Revolution came, we didn't try to work it out. Our president at the time, I think it was no, Carter. Well, who was the president after Carter? Reagan, motherfucker Reagan. Reagan went to the Iranians, and the American diplomats were hostages. Okay, and he lobbied the Iranians and told them keep the American hostages, so Kennedy would lose. Was it Kennedy? No, so Carter would lose the election, and when I become president, I will give you a military deal under the table without anyone knowing in exchange for these hostages. So even when we are trying to help our citizens, we throw our own country under the bus so one person can become the president. The same president that undermined the whole US economy before Trump. Who was the worst president? Reagan. Who is the current worst president? Trump. So your country, the country I admire, the country I love, has been undermined by its own leadership. Trump and Reagan are both part of the establishment. Again, anyone telling you that we're against the establishment, tell them that Trump is part of the establishment. He is the establishment. His family literally made more than $50 billion during just this war period. Did you know that? Huh. What do I anticipate? Will the Gulf states react if Russia, Putin loses his war of choice? You mean the Ukraine war? They'll just move on. It's not the biggest deal to them. Russia is someone they need to manage and rather than someone that they're dependent on. How do people calm down Jen in the Middle East culture? I feel like that's a joke. Like, what is all the Jen? Jen has a very long history, deep rooted history in the Middle East. They are creatures made out of fire. Uh, Humans are made out of dirt or mud, and then angels are made out of light. Like the devil's also a type of a jinn that was an angel somehow. So don't ask me how Muslims came up with Satan that was an angel that's also made out of fire. They have their own conflictions, but uh they're meant to live together. And I don't think this war is made by jinn. I think this war is just our human intuition and greed and not wanting to empathize with the other side. See if we have any other questions. We are reaching the 1 hour mark, but I will give you guys more space to write your questions. Oh, by the way, about the LGBT or gay cruise that will launch out of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, I found the company itself and I found the ad that the company has placed on its own website and I sent it to Malcolm. Let me see what Malcolm says. This is crazy, but would be a very well likely be very popular. So yeah, apparently it's okay for you to be a Western gay guy visiting Saudi Arabia in a cruise, but for us Saudis to be gay, we get sentenced to a death penalty. Reality goes both ways. That's why it's different, you know. If you're married, you're born somewhere, it changes for you. Anyways, my phone battery is at 3%. Let's try to end this now and pick up tomorrow. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Join us in the Substack group chat, channel chat. Make sure that you like and comment, subscribe also on YouTube. It helps us a lot. And we'll see you next time.